You went to a school in Washington, D.C. in college, and then you got involved in SNCC. In my reading, there was a dramatic incident that caused you to move away from the nonviolent tactics of Dr. King and move toward a much more militant stand. So can you recall that specific incident? Because, boy, it was...
I remember. I think you're probably speaking about Montgomery, Alabama. But, you know, actually before, because of the work we were doing, we were organizers, and in the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, we had two wings, actually. One wing concentrated on mobilized activity against public-aided segregation, against public segregation, so they had a lot of citizen movements, and the other wing directed its attention to voter registration campaigns in the Deep South, Mississippi, Alabama, and this is where I worked. Of course, our work was far more dangerous because here you had public demonstrations with people coming, but the work of organizers are quiet, slow, 2 o'clock in the morning, going on plantations, etc., etc. So for very protection, we started carrying guns. Of course, it wasn't said publicly that we carried guns, but we carried them. But the situation really came to a head in Montgomery, Alabama. You know, the Selma to Montgomery march was a vicious march. At that time, George Wallace was governor of Alabama, and he turned loose his state troopers, and I mean, they were real Nazis. I mean, they were terrorists. And I went to Montgomery on an assignment for the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee and was staying at a hotel, which we were using. It was a hotel owned by Africans there, which we were using as our headquarters. And the police came along and started locking all the doors, and they locked the doors to the hotels. You know, I couldn't understand why. I was trying to get out. They wouldn't, so I was forced to go upstairs, and I think I went upstairs on about the 4th floor. And when I saw everything clearly, they had the whole posse on horseback, you know, and they had the whole area blocked off, and they had demonstrations squeezed in, and they just rode and trampled them, you know, and just, I mean, they just did whatever they wanted to do to them. And they had the whole area blocked off, the press wasn't there, and I was forced to look at it. It was just helpless. There was absolutely nothing I could do, absolutely nothing. I mean, there wasn't even a Coke bottle to throw at one of them, you know. And when the rest of the SNCC people came, I was screaming at them. I told them, we don't want to hear this nonviolence. We need to kill some of these people right now. That's the only lesson, you know. So they said I wasn't feeling well, that they should send me out of Montgomery, and they started to take me out to Montgomery, and we went to the airport. When I got to the airport, I saw some of these, you know, state troopers, and tried to, well, of course, just tried to attack them. They restrained me, and I vowed after that that this nonviolent demonstration stuff, forget it. You know, these people don't understand this. You know, it's effective, but its effectiveness has worn off now. It's time to use another tactic and call for some retaliatory action against them.